Dave Weinberg, the Eagles beat writer from the Press of Atlantic City, writes today that the Eagles should welcome Sam Bradford back with open arms. We'll get his thoughts on that, the fight from the weekend as well. How'd you hit him yesterday, Dave?
Not too bad. Actually, he played pretty well. I had some really good partners with me, too. I think we finished like 9 under.
Wow, so 9 under. Woohoo, look at you.
Yeah, it was a pretty good day, yeah.
Dave was at the LPGA Media Day yesterday as well. And, Dave, read the article in the paper yesterday about Sam Bradford, and everybody seems to have a lot of different opinions. In your column, you write that he should be welcomed back with open arms. Are you referring to fans or his teammates there?
Oh, teammates. And even fans, I guess. I mean, it really doesn't matter, whether they do or not. But I think it's more important that his teammates do that. He is the unquestioned leader of that offense. I mean, Doug Peterson's probably made that pretty clear numerous times. So I think the sooner they just welcome him back and let him get back to getting back to business, I think the better off they'll be.
You think his teammates will welcome him back?
Yeah, I do. I think they're all. It's kind of it's a fraternity among players where everybody has each other's back, and I know they were probably a little disappointed that he chose, to take the route that he did. But at the same token, I think they realize what he means to the team, and he pretty much proved his leadership last year, I thought, at the end of the year, by bonding the offense together. There was had some pretty fiery pregame speeches that seemed to rally the troops, so to speak. So I think when push comes to shove, they know that he's his team. He's their teammate, and they need him if they want to have success. So I think that they'll let their disappointment go pretty quickly.
Dave Weinberg's with us. You just mentioned that he proved his leadership last year. When you look at this whole situation, how do you read into it in terms of how did it get here, where it started? Do you see that Bradford has a point? Do you think that he was kind of duped? I mean, do you not feel bad for him at all? What is your take on how it started and where we are today?
I feel very bad for him, actually. I do. Just speaking for myself, I think that they led him to believe that he was going to have a chance to be the quarterback of the future. They weren't guaranteeing him anything, but they at least, I think when they signed that contract, he could have been a free agent. Whether he would have got a big deal or not, who knows, but that was before Brock Osweiler chose to leave, so maybe Denver doesn't sign Mark Sanchez. Maybe they sign Sam Bradford instead. But I think that he wanted to come back because he was led to believe that he would have a chance to be their long-term answer. They had the 13th pick at the time when they signed him. And even when they moved up to 8th, I don't think he realized that they were going to, make another move and get all the way up into the top 2. So I think they kind of led him down the wrong path, so to speak. So, yeah, I have a lot of sympathy for him, actually.
What do you think he had a bigger role? His agent? Who do you place blame on in how it got to this point then?
His agent didn't handle it very well. I don't know if Sam really wanted to hold out. I think his agent kind of talked him into it, if that's what you mean. But I think people are making such a big deal out of this. It's only 2 weeks of team workouts. He didn't miss an OTA. He was there for the first one, as a matter of fact. He didn't miss any mini camps, and it's not like he's like a 14-year-old kid trying to learn the West Coast offense. He's been around the block a couple of times. He knows what he's doing in there. It's not going to take him all that long to get comfortable with everything. So I don't know why everybody flew off the wall because they decided to stay home for a couple of weeks. And where's Fletcher Cox, by the way?
Yeah, I guess it's the position that he plays. When you're the quarterback, there's a lot more, the microscope on you. And look, one of his things, I've defended Bradford plenty. I don't agree with the way he handled things. I agree with you. I think he was kind of misled a little bit. He knows the sand's going through the hourglass here. But that being said, one of his stances has been, Dave, that he does not want to keep bouncing around. He wants to stay someplace long term. And I would have to assume one of the reasons is he has been with, 4 or 5 different offensive coordinators. He's going with another offensive coordinator this year. You would think he would want to get in there and learn that offense sooner than later. But I guess, as he said, the business side does get in the way.
Yeah, and, he wanted to be the long-term answer. And he doesn't believe that he would have a chance, that he'd have a chance to settle in and grow into the role and be the quarterback for the next 5-6 years. So I think he just reached his boiling point where he was just, enough's enough. I'm being bounced around all the time. You said they change offensive coordinators like they change socks. I think he was just fed up, and he just let his emotions get the better of him.
So does he have a shot? I mean, you covered.
No,
it's a different situation. You covered. It's a different situation, but you covered the Peterson McNabb situation. Right. Peterson never thought he was the long-term guy, so I think that's a different spot. But you understand the pressure of getting that guy on the field.
The who? Wentz?
No. Well, the pressure that was getting McNabb on the field, and now, which will be getting Wentz on the field eventually.
Oh, yeah, but like you said, they're two completely different situations. When they drafted McNabb, they knew he was going to be the guy, and they just brought in Peterson to babysit him, to hold down the fort. So McNabb played in the first couple games, I think, maybe a backup role, but and they knew he was going to be taking over the starting role at some point his first year. Whereas they want Wentz. I have to think that they don't think Wentz is ready to play yet, so that's why they did what they did, and he's going to have to sit for an entire year, maybe two. So I'm not sure, like, the situation's equated. Maybe McNabb is just ready to play.
Are you surprised, though, in this day and age? Mike Sealski wrote a piece about this at the Inquirer about basically, I think the number was 11 quarterbacks drafted 1, 2, or 3. 9 of them started in week 1, and every single one of them had played by week 5. I mean, the pressure for these organizations when they especially trade up to get a guy, the pressure to get them out there is pretty great. Now, it's great if they want to keep this guy on the sideline for 2 years. That's the way that I think most people should do it. But sometimes the pressure gets to these teams, and they just force these guys on the field before they're ready. And I think that's why we see the downfall of a lot of these quarterbacks who don't make it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think they're taking the right approach here. Not only, and Wentz was the number 2 pick, of course, but coming from a 1AA school where they didn't face a whole lot of competition. I think he only played in, 7 or 8 games as a senior. So he has a lot to prove, and he's definitely not ready to play yet, whereas some of those other guys like Mariota, Winston, I think they wanted to throw them out there right away and let them, I guess, grow on the field, whereas they don't need to do that with Wentz, and that's a good thing. They don't have to suffer through his mistakes as a rookie.
Dave Weinberg's with us, the Eagles beat writer from the Press of Atlantic City. He says that the Eagles should welcome Sam Bradford back with open arms. You also write about, what about Fletcher Cox? He's under contract, and it seems that you're saying that, hey, people should be questioning him too.
Yeah, I mean, I keep getting like this, Ike Reese and some of these other guys are saying, well, it's a different situation. And I understand, like you said, they play different positions. Quarterback is much more important. But Fletcher Cox was under contract last time I checked, right? So why is it okay for him to just sit home and, train in Mississippi or wherever he is and skip all these things? Why doesn't he have to be here? I don't get that. I don't get why that is.
And have you sensed that others around the team are annoyed by him?
No, I've been there often enough to know. I mean, the access has been pretty limited except for the one mini camp. So, I don't think they're really ticked. I don't think they were that ticked at Sam either. I mean, that was all from, outside people, complaining, former players and fans. But I don't remember hearing like any player actually saying, like, gosh, I wish Sam was here. And, why isn't he? And we really need him. And, he's a traitor and all this other stuff. That's a bunch of baloney.
Well, it's a very unprecedented-like situation. Andrew Brandt told us the other day, he worked in the Eagles front office and also worked in Green Bay when they drafted Rodgers. And he said, look, I've never seen anything like this before, where you invest that much money in free agency in one position and then draft that same exact position and trade up to do so. So that makes this such an unprecedented-like situation.
Right. Yeah, not only did they sign Sam, but they signed Chief Daniel, too. For what? I don't get that. What has he done? I mean, I don't understand it. I don't know why they gave him that. You can get a backup. You can get a backup anywhere. Why do you need to sell out that kind of money for a guy?
Yeah, that is a lot of money.
I don't get that at all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, you're right. That is a lot of money for a backup. I guess with Peterson being in his first year, he wanted someone that he kind of felt comfortable with, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, that's his boy. Yeah, Chase was with him in Kansas City, and he feels comfortable with him. He's kind of like Doug Jr. almost. They kind of had the same path in the NFL, So I guess he wanted somebody who, maybe because he's more familiar with the offense than Sam is, maybe he thinks Carson could be the guy that can groom once a little bit, take him under his wing in practices and, show him the ropes and stuff. But I don't think you need to pay that kind of money to do that because there's no way that Daniel's playing unless Sam gets hurt. But And even then, why would you trade up to get a guy number 2 and then make him your third string quarterback? That doesn't make any sense to me either.
Dave, you wrote in the column that Bradford doesn't owe anyone an apology. He was rightfully upset because he felt he was lied to by the Eagles. So how do you think Howie Roseman and the Eagles have handled this situation?
Awful. I just don't. I don't know why they did what they did. They had to have known that they were going to at least try to go up and get Wentz because they fell in love with him at the Senior Bowl. They were all over him at the Combine, interviewing him and checking him out and all this other stuff. So they had to know before they gave Sam his contract that they were going to at least try to do it.
Well, do you fault Sam though for not seeing the writing on the wall then?
Yeah, maybe he was a little naive, but I guess he kind of he wanted to believe what they told him, and I can only assume that they told him that he's going to have a chance to be there long term. Take these 2 years and show us what you can do because you only had basically you played well for half a year last year, so we really can't give you a huge long term deal. But show us that you can stay healthy, show us that you can produce, and if you can, then we'll give you the mega bucks and the multi-year deal. But I just think that they lied to him, and I don't agree with that. I don't agree doing business that way. That's just me. Really.
Well, and look, I have a sense from just looking at the way that the Bradford team reacted here that they were something triggered them off that they felt they were a little deceived or misled. And my question had always been, if they asked the appropriate questions, would he have signed the contract? And if they asked the right questions, Dave, if they asked the right questions and the Eagles told them, we might draft a quarterback or we could move up, and he still signed, then that's on him. But
absolutely, yes.
Now, I guess the Roseman has said we've been forthright that we were going to draft a quarterback. Do you feel there's a difference between drafting a quarterback third round?
Heck yeah, absolutely. There's a difference between Christian Hackenberg and Carson Wentz. Yeah. If you draft a guy in the third or fourth round, you might get Russell Wilson, but chances are you're getting, Matt Barkley or somebody like that you're going to groom to maybe be a backup, or if he shows some promise, maybe you can trade him and get something for him down the line. But you're certainly not drafting your franchise quarterback in the third round.
Christian, is Matt Barkley still playing? Is he with the Cardinals still?
Yeah, I believe so. Yep.
Dave Weinberg.
No, I think they just drafted somebody, right? And he's going to compete with him for the third string job or something.
Probably, because I don't see him ever getting on the field.
No.
Dave Weinberg from the Press of Atlantic City covering the Eagles. Also, the New Jersey Boxing Hall of Famer I want to get your thoughts on the fight from the other night and where we go from here. Canelo Alvarez knocking out Khan. Do you, Dave, see Alvarez fighting Triple G? I know Triple G's your guy.
Yeah. That would be the fight that everybody wants to see. That's just two of the top middleweights in the world, both hard-hitting sluggers who can knock you out with one punch. And Alvarez has grown so much since when he fought Mayweather. He's at the top of his game. Triple G's at the top of his game. That would be just a fantastic fight to see. It would be much better than Mayweather Pacquiao ever would have been. So, that's the one that everybody wants to see, and I really hope it happens. I've been dreaming that it'll come to Boardwalk Hall, but I know that's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen. I think there's more of a chance of the fight happening than it coming to Boardwalk Hall. But will the fight happen? Do you think that fight will happen?
Yeah, I think so. It seems like boxing people generally come to their senses eventually when they realize that there's money to be made. And that's
so 9 years, 9 years from now it'll happen?
No, I hope not. I don't think Triple G will be around that much longer. But, I think it'll get done. Maybe not this year, but maybe next year, I think. That's just a fight it makes too much sense for it not to get done. Even with, promoters being as selfish as they are and networks, battling over TV rights for different guys and stuff. I just think this is the one fight that supersedes all that. And, I do think they'll find a way to get it done.
All right. Read Dave's column on – Yeah, we all hope so. Read Dave's column on Sam Bradford at Press of Atlantic City and, of course, the New Jersey Boxing Hall of Famer Dave Weinberg here covering the boxing as well as that fight was entertaining this weekend. Got a big knockout, and then we'll see if that fight gets set up. Dave, always a pleasure, man. Good article.
Oh, thanks, Mike. I appreciate it.